Oh, my goodness. And there it is. Wow, get the pin to go.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to BowlTV.com for the PWBA Podcast Special Edition, Round 2, B Squad at the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series at the ITRC in Arlington, Texas. My name is Aaron Smith, sitting alongside, once again, the best lefty I know, Matt Cannizzaro. Matthew, how was your short break, sir?
It was great. I try to be a top-notch left-handed live streamer, so I appreciate the kind words. Looking forward to the next 90 minutes.
Certainly so. For those of you who turned in during A Squad, we had a lot of fun. We showed some bowling. We talked to some folks. It was really a great experience just celebrating the return of the PWBA Tour in 2021. A lot of effort, a lot of time went into making this happen from the PWBA staff, USBC, BPAA, and we want to thank them so much for making this happen. It's just so exciting to be back on the lanes, even though we're technically covering this event remotely. There's a lot of great people who are on site, including the athletes and, of course, the staff who are essentially, following a very strict protocols and procedures throughout the course of the tournament. They're either at the ITRC for the tournament, working or bowling, or they're at the hotel, which is just across the street here from the International Bowling Campus. It's, it's a lot of dedication, a lot of time to put in for everybody, but the important part is everybody is being safe. All negative tests yesterday through the first round. So they got an unofficial practice session before today's official practice session for the Bowler's Journal Classic and the ITRC Classic, 2 of the 4 events happening this week. Matt, we haven't been on the inside. We've been kind of on the outside, knowing we were going to be part of this event, but this feels special. This feels different. I'm pretty excited to be a part of this. What are you looking forward to in the next week with all these great events?
Well, I think the emotion that we're going to see from top to bottom is going to be terrific. Just the fact that these players get to compete once again. We know how much it means to them. We know how much they have struggled over the past, as we counted, 492 days. To be able to compete again. So we're going to see all the hard work and all the dedication pay off. And, the hard work not only of the players to be ready, but for the staff to get ready for this event. And again, I've been on the outside a little more so, I think, over the last couple of years, covering some other events and other parts of what we do. But to be back now and be alongside you for this journey, looking forward to it and seeing all this new technology. It's really pretty cool.
Absolutely. And to showcase some of this new technology, it looks like we already have a guest set up by Jason Thomas, who is inside the ITRC. So once again, we are more than fortunate to welcome Tenille Milligan, Director of Operations and USBC Hall of Famer. Hello again, Tenille.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're great. Did you have a good lunch in between squats?
We get to eat? I'm just kidding. Yes, I had a very good lunch. Thank you. They've been feeding us well.
All right, we got A Squad in the books. So some of that rust, as we're getting back into this, is now shaking off. You're in the B Squad. How's everyone looking so far? How are they feeling? Kind of what's the mood in there since we're working remotely?
I've never seen happier bowlers in my entire life. They are extremely happy. I think they're anxious. You see them coming in and just, you could tell they're ready to go. They're here way before they should be, according to our protocols and procedures. They're just antsy. They're ready to go. And it's refreshing, and it's been a long time coming.
All right, we can hear the pins crashing behind you. We do have all those channels live now on Bowl TV. We had some technical difficulties getting a few of the pairs up, but all of them now live on the channels below, so you can pick the lanes and watch just practice alone, or you can watch with us, which is also fun because Matt and I are occasionally exciting and fun. But Tenille, you talked about the players being happy. Is there, I know with social distancing, there's, no long-awaited hugs and high fives like we are used to seeing on tour. But, just what's, we kind of asked this earlier. Just what's it like being back in the swing of things?
And, you talk about, not seeing everybody in person in a long time. So, you want to give them a hug. You want to go up. You want to high five them. You want to do all that stuff. But, we can't right now. So it's a lot of the long distance. It's a lot of this. It's just, it's hard. It's hard for me because I'm a hugger. I want to hug them. I want to, so maybe later in the week once we're all together, we're one tight-knit family, maybe come Friday after another cleared test, there will be lots of hugs, more high fives, elbow pumps. So it's different. It's different, but I get to see them in person. So that's even better, not just a Zoom call.
Tenille is a longtime competitor. You've had a chance to compete all over the world. You've made friends in countries across the globe. And then you also were a competitor when the PWBA went away in 2003. So now to be able to help bring it back, not only as a former competitor, but for the bowling fans out there, we have folks tuning in from all over now, from Chile, from United Kingdom, just everywhere, just to watch practice day. So we're excited about that. But what does it mean to be on the inside there, to be able to help bring this back, not only to the competitors, but to the fans around the world who are going to be watching on both TV?
Well, the cool part is that we're part of history. It's always fun to be part of history, part of something big, part of, that you help make this happen along with this amazing team that we work with. So, I mean, I'm a sensitive person, and I'll tell you, I cried 3 times in the last day and a half, just tears of joy to be able to see it. But I mean, if you look at it, being inside this, structure that we're living, it's history in the making, folks.
Now, tomorrow afternoon, you get to do that final re-rack that'll sweep across the house there at ITRC and set the wheels in motion for the new PWBA Tour season. Have you practiced your speech, what you're going to say? Are you going to be able to hold it together in that moment? That's the question.
Well, we had an unofficial roll call for our official practice session. It doesn't normally happen. It's, practice sessions, pick a pair, go, but it's very structured. So we did have a roll call. I held it together there. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? It's kind of, as much as I'm going to practice, and I'll still get misty-eyed. I'm not going to lie. The girls have seen me. I've cried in front of a couple of them already just because I'm so excited that they get to throw bowling balls down the lane.
And Tenille, we're looking at some of the practice on lanes 1 through 4 right now, and the PWBA has kind of a different look. There's been a little bit of a rebranding here with the Bowl Fearless logo as well. Some different colors, some a new vibrant look for the PWBA. What do you think about that, and how do you like it? I think the ITRC looks great.
The ITRC has never looked better. Look at it. It's filled with beautiful athletes. The masking units, everything's just bright because it's going to be a bright new year for PWBA. So we had to bring it back and just show, wow. I mean, look at behind you, Aaron. You're glowing. You're neon. So it's just, that's what we are. We're bright. And I want everybody to just imagine how bright the PWBA 2021 season is going to be.
Now, Tenille, we're going to let you get back to your jobs as tournament manager and director of operations, and just making sure everybody's following the rules, of course.
We got to follow rules. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got to follow the rules. Step number 1. There's a big moment coming up at the a few times throughout the course of this week is going to be the opportunity to crown champions, and what's it going to be to hand off a trophy? Or socially distance, point someone to go pick up a trophy. I'm not sure all the procedures for that just yet, but what's it going to be like to see someone realize a dream once again?
It's going to be well worth all this hard work that everybody has put into it time and time again. And yes, we'll point to them they'll grab their trophy and then they'll hop in right in this booth to come talk to all the bowling fans.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to that. And 3 national champions, a regional champion. It is going to be great, and it's all here on bowltv.com. So, Tenille, we know you're coming up on that first announcement here very soon, so we'll let you get to that. You got the mic ready. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for everything you've done to make this happen, and best of luck this week. We look forward to enjoying it with you through the digital space here on Bowl TV.
Yes, thanks to all our Bowl TV fans. Love you guys, and stay tuned all week long.
All right, everybody. Tenille Milligan joining us here on the PWBA Podcast. Matt Cannizzaro. We're watching some bowling here as well. It's fun. It's unique. This is the first time I believe I've streamed a practice session for real, not just for setup day, just to make sure everything's working. But I'm kind of enjoying it. For the folks who are watching and kind of wondering, there are 2 patterns out there right now. So on the left lanes is the 39-foot pattern being used for the Bowler's Journal Classic, and on the on the right lane, the 43-foot pattern for the ITRC Classic. The reports we had early on was that it was pretty easy to get to the pocket on both, and kind of looking at the ratios and the shape of the pattern, it didn't look too crazy out there just yet. And we're getting to see some of that here in the early going for B Squad, their first opportunity to kind of see the ball go down the lane and see what shapes, see what balls are working for them.
Well, Aaron, I think too on the PWBA Tour, especially compared to the PBA Tour with more of the men out there, the style is a little bit more similar. I think for the ladies, they're going to attack these patterns kind of the same for most part. And as you said, they're playing kind of similar, but I think we'll see them a little bit straighter to begin with. There's, of course, a few heavier-handed players out there who will be able to get left and boom it a little bit. But I think for the most part, it'll be pretty similar, a little bit straighter. And just looking, in the background there, it looked like players from 4 or 5 different countries just right here on our featured pair to begin with. So what a reach for the PWBA Tour. Of course, as we mentioned, many of them do live in the United States now, but do compete for other countries internationally. So there should be some great insight there, some different perspectives and some thoughts as we progress through the week on what things were like for each of them as we got, to this point.
All right, Matt, some great insight there. And we're going to bring in another ball representative to chat for a second. Guy we haven't seen since the 2019 season, but always good to see him, Mr. Eric Kraus from Brunswick. Eric, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. We're watching bowling. We're getting to chat with you. So how's everything on your end?
Things are good. It's glad to be back on the road and see all these girls we haven't seen in, almost 2 years, it feels like.
We talked to Chuck a little bit earlier, and he was kind of going through the process of kind of all the players, kind of your guys' game plan for kind of handling everything throughout the course of the week. But for you personally, what's kind of the anticipation been like for you?
Oh man, I've been cooped up since the World Series with the guys, so the anticipation has been killing me. I've been raring to go. I've been counting down the hours until my flight, so when I could fly out here on Friday. And we've had a lot of these girls that we haven't had a chance to work with because with the tour season not being able to bowl last year, getting to know them and what they expect from us and what they like to see, it's exciting.
Now, Eric, you guys have 10 players, I believe, and 7 brands of bowling balls. That's a lot of homework that needs to be done prior to hitting the lanes, and of course, only so much preparation you can do in advance of finding out the patterns, which you did earlier today. What has it been like getting ready? Once you heard that this definitely was happening, you know who the players are, you know what the equipment is. Chuck mentioned having to swap out a lot of things on the truck just based on the last time you actually were in there. So a lot had to happen prior to walking in the door today. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, there are 7 brands, and each brand has a full line of product. So it's probably just getting to know, what balls there may be some overlap in. What balls, and what balls certain players like to see, what shapes, what they have in their bag. So we'll make sure we're not, if there are any gaps in there, that we have those tools to fill them. the process is just kind of getting to know everybody and what they like to see. And then if there is something that they're missing, make sure we have it on the truck for them. So.
Now, with the players changing brands and new signings and new equipment and such, how much do you talk to the players when they're not on tour in the offseason, especially coming into this? How many conversations were there? How much did technology help in getting them ready and getting you guys comfortable with folks you may not have talked to much in the past?
Well, like I said, we didn't really, with some of the girls, we haven't really had a chance to, spend any time on the lanes with them previously. So that was very important. We did a lot of, Zoom, Facebook Live stuff, or, when Shannon would practice, she would, she's diligent about her practice regimen. So she would send us videos, talk to Chuck and I about what she likes, what she's seeing, how she's feeling, what ball she likes, and even what she doesn't like. So we know what her thought process is. So we're all on the same page as we get out here.
Now, right now we're looking at arsenals, of course, in the boards area there, and a different oil pattern on each lane, left and right. So how do we attack this 90 minutes? What are you looking for right now as you're watching the players make their way through the house, and how do you make the most of this practice session?
Well, it's just trying to, see what kind of shapes they're making. They look like they're playing a little tighter than they did this first practice session across the board. Kind of taking a look at what balls look good, what doesn't look good, what we're missing. And, I think with the different oils they're using and the different lengths and different volumes, we can try to get their feet in a similar part of the lane, play similar zones. It's just finding what two balls work for them and then knowing what their transitions are going to be as they progress. It's easy to get with as much practice as we get. It's easy to line up on the fresh. It's just going to try to anticipate what's going to happen as they break down, move pairs, and make sure they know what their progressions are going to be. And, if I go from ball A to ball B to ball C.
Eric, we're watching lanes 1 through 4 right now while we chat with you. And one of the young players who's coming on tour this year is Caitlin Johnson, a rookie from Weber International. Tell us a little bit about her as far as, what you guys have learned about her heading into the tour and what, some of the strengths of her game that the folks on Bowl TV will get to see this season.
Caitlin's a great shot maker. I mean, you don't bowl it. You don't get to be a Team USA member without being a great shot maker. I think Caitlin is going to, we talked with her. I actually talked with her quite a bit about trying to manipulate some layouts to get her some better ball motion, and I think she's on the right track. She's gonna have a great year. She's my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Definitely a solid pick, and we got quite a few great rookies out here that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. Her, Brianna.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Kraus. Well, we're going to let you get back to work there, but we appreciate you stopping in. Once again, it's great to see you, bud. It's been too long, but
absolutely.
We're here. We're doing it, and thanks again for being a part of this.
Hope to see you guys in person real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Eric. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, there we have it. Eric Kraus from Brunswick joining part of the Brunswick EBI Hammer ball staff there. So they have all 7 companies are product registered this season. So that's pretty exciting as well. DV8 Radical. So definitely a lot of choices for those players throughout the course of a tournament block just like this. And a lot of decisions to make, which is, a big part of why they're there. They know the equipment like the back of their hands. They know the players' strengths. They know the shapes, the cores they like to see. And they can really work that together to optimize their chances to strike.
Well, and as we talked about in looking at the patterns, of course, they are anticipating quite a few strikes being thrown throughout the week. And I think as the events go on, of course, they'll get more comfortable with being back on the lane, shaking off the rust, as they say, and just that phenomenal venue. So expectations are high, and the excitement level, of course, the enthusiasm, and looking forward to it. So people like strikes, and we've got a ton of people checking in from all over the world, and that's so cool just to see the excitement for unofficial practice or official practice day. Now we are getting to it. So, I hope the enthusiasm both on the lanes and in our chats and across our social media continues to grow as we really get going. It's a big responsibility for us to usher in the new season and shoulder some of that, and looking forward to it.
And once again, for this practice session here, 2 patterns out for the first 2 events. The PWBA Bowlers Journal Classic pattern, 39 feet, 24.72 mils, combination of fire and ice from Kegel being used. That'll be the first event that's on the left lane across the house right now. On the right lane for the ITRC Classic, which is event number 2, 43 feet, so 4 feet longer, a little less than the mils, 22.75. A combination of fire and ice from Kegel, and that gives us a great opportunity. Let's give Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA, an opportunity to showcase here in a little ad they got for us. So we're going to show that. We'll be back to the bowling in just 1 second.
How do I play this pattern?
All right, excellent stuff there from our good friends at Kegel. It sounds like we're going to have another guest joining us quickly, as Jason Thomas has let us know. So let's bring up some bowling here first. Let's go with this channel right here. We didn't get to show this one last time, so. All right, that is 11 and 12. We have Kayla Bandy. Some big news for her this week. She actually left her job as the head coach of the Maryland Eastern Shore Bowling Program, a very successful program. Had been there for, I believe, about 8 seasons to pursue some new endeavors. So we wish Kayla all the best in her new, and she's raising the roof at the same time, in her new endeavors. Just a great individual. Always enjoy getting to see Kayla at these events and competing as well. There's Stephanie Johnson on the far right, and Tina Williams.
There's some big names, past and present, of course, with from the collegiate ranks, from the past PWBA seasons and such. Some of the Hall of Famers, Liz Johnson will be around, and then of course the newcomers, the rookies, an amazing rookie class. So many storylines. They're almost making our jobs too easy this week as far as things to talk about. We can discuss all of that as the week unfolds. We can talk about what they've been up to, where they are, where they come from, what they do in their real lives. Maybe some have enjoyed new endeavors, as you mentioned, during 2020 and 21 now, and some players making a return to the national scene. Jody Shearer, that's a name that some of these players would not know. She was a past PWBA Rookie of the Year decades ago. Jillian Martin, our young competitor, did not exist at the time of that PWBA Rookie of the Year award. So again, we've got a little bit of everything, and we've seen success from many of these players, most of them at various levels, and we get to watch it all unfold on every channel here on Bowl TV. Every shot of competition will be available to be watched. And I know I see some questions in the chat, and even for me, Aaron, being less familiar with all of the amazing capabilities that Bowl TV offers now, especially for the PWBA Tour, a chance to see every pair of lanes and every shot go down the lanes. Tell us more about that, because it really is pretty cool stuff.
It is, Matt, and that's going to be one of the benefits. You're actually watching it now. If you're on bowltv.com, you can pick from every pair of lanes. Most of them have 4 lanes. Some of them have 2. That's based off of our stepladder final being on 9 and 10 throughout the course of the week. But it's pretty awesome. So, before we were kind of limited to wherever we were set up, whoever would come to us. Now we can follow the action. If Tina Williams has the, front 8, front 9 on lanes 1 and 2, and, we're right here on 11 and 12 like we are now, we have the ability to switch over there to get that. And so that's going to be a cool aspect. Essentially, we're going to have one channel that's going to work a lot like the Red Zone for the NFL, if you're familiar with that, where we're going to get kind of just be in our little space, talking, chatting with bowlers, talking about the action going on, letting you know results, oil patterns, all the good stuff. But we'll also be bringing on guests throughout, being able to switch the channels. And of course, if you just want to watch it and not hear the great commentary of Mr. Cannizzaro and myself, you can do that too and just watch straight bowling, follow your favorite athlete from pair to pair, which is very cool. Another guy, very cool, very left-handed, very named Matt, Mr. Matt McNeil, now joining.
Speaking of our favorite athletes.
Man, you had to bring in that left-handed thing, didn't you, Aaron?
I just know you're so lonely down there. Matt's far away. Angie Ramirez is the only left-hander in the field, so I'm just trying to give you some love that way.
I appreciate it, my friend. I always do.
Now, Matt, right now we're looking at lanes 11 and 12, and Stephanie Johnson, kind of a new member to the team, but not so much. She joined in 2020, but obviously we did not have the tour. But I know Roto Grip and Storm very excited to have her join on the PWBA team. Talk about her transition over the course of these months, getting ready for this event, and just some of the great things that Stephanie brings to your company.
I tell you what, I'd have to get about 8 reams of paper to list all the good things that Steph does, not only for our company, for Storm Roto Grip, not our global, not for our team, but just for the sport of bowling in general. And when you talk about all the things she's done on Team USA, all the titles she has, Junior Team USA, I mean, this is somebody who's been an integral part of the sport of bowling, and we're very, very lucky to have her on our team. As far as the transition has occurred is concerned, when you get an athlete of that caliber, and really more just comes down to being able to use the tools in different manners, because the tools are going to give you some different looks and they're going to give you some different shapes. So that was more or less just fine-tuning in some of the layouts. We changed some of the layouts that she was using with her former company. We're using some different layouts now. We're using some different game plans, game strategies, just as far as her lane play is concerned. And we've worked on a little more versatility. I think, slow hooking the ball a little more, being a little more comfortable with, covering more boards down lane, opening up those launch angles for the front part of the lane, getting the hand around the ball a little more, creating some more rotation. Those are a lot of the things that we've been focusing in on in the last few months.
So that's a great description of all the hard work that it takes. But I guess the question is, how did you accomplish that, especially given the current climate? I imagine technology had some role in that. But how do you accomplish all of that hard work in the world we live in right now?
Well, Steph is at the bowl just about every day. If she can't be there, she'll do drills at home. As the tour manager, I work with the athletes on a daily basis. That's kind of my job in the off season. So it's a lot of WhatsApp videos, and here's what I'm seeing. Here's what we got. A lot of arsenals. Hey, send me a picture of this. Let's see how this rolls. Send me a picture of that. Let's see how that rolls. Okay, this ball fits here. This ball's underneath. This ball's above it. Make sure we got front to back, top to bottom. Make sure we got a really good, well-rounded arsenal. And then, keeping tabs on all those performances, those tournament performances, just as far as, hey, what went really good and then what didn't go so great, and how can we turn that into a learning opportunity? What do we got to change for as far as strategy-wise when we get into that situation on tour? And so it's just keeping up with all the players and making sure that we're always growing and learning, because every time you hit the lanes, it's a learning and growing opportunity.
Now, we did talk to you earlier today when we introduced the oil patterns for this week. 2 different patterns, of course, right now during practice, 1 on each lane. You had some initial thoughts, but now that you've had that 90 minutes to look things over and some time to talk about it in between squats here, how has the game plan developed and changed since we talked earlier today?
I think it's still more of the same. Just as far as what I'm seeing on the left lane, it's going to end up, you're going to need some steeper angles through the front part of the lane. You have to be a little further left on that lane. The right lane looks really, really nice, really inviting. If you want to play a little straighter, a little harder, you can. If you want to be a little left and cover some, little left to right and cover some boards, you can. There's definitely an OB zone there. I think 5 and out just looks horrendous. You don't want to be in that area, obviously, but that right lane pattern is pretty friendly in my mind. And I think the left lane pattern, it's just making sure you got a ball that sees front to back the right way, so it doesn't get behind the head pin, and you don't, get in one of those scenarios where if you gas it a little bit, you 2-8-10, you slow down a little bit, you Greek church. And that's really what we're making sure the players have at least a really good starting ball, and then we know their progression. So they have a game plan. When this ball starts doing X, Y, Z, I'm going to ball number 2. When that ball starts doing ABC, I'm going to ball 3. And really working with the players to make sure they have that game plan and they're ready to go. Because we just 2 reps, we're not going to make every decision for our players throughout this tournament. The players got to make a lot of decisions on their own, and they always have to be very good decisions. That's how you end up being a world-class player and leading tournaments.
Aaron mentioned earlier Angie Ramirez being the lone left-hander. You, of course, have some insight to that side of the lane, but before we let you go, how did that conversation go? How are you going to help her find success here, especially as the patterns start to open up on the right side, which sometimes is good, sometimes not so good. But how does she find success this week at the ITRC?
Well, I mean, she's left-handed, so we all stand on the big dot and throw it out, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, Angie's a very talented player, and I've bowled with her for many, many years in amateur tournaments all over. So we got a really good game plan for her. Her arsenal is very, very well-rounded, and she's a very talented player. And I'll tell you what, when she gets comfortable, she's going to have her side to herself. There's nobody else. So all we got to do is get her comfortable, and then it's going to be off to the races for Angie. It's just going to come down to repeatability, execution, and spare making.
All right, Mr. McNeil, we once again appreciate the insight and joining us here on Bowl TV. As Matt said last time, it's just like old times. It's just like old times. So
yeah, nothing's changed.
That's right. We'll let you get back to it, sir. But thank you again for joining us, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. All right, we mentioned Angie Ramirez-Perea. She is on our featured pair for practice right now, along with Shannon O'Keefe. And Matt and folks at Bowl TV, we got a special treat coming up here. We got a few athletes joining the show who bowled on A Squad. They're roommates this week. They're very awesome. Excited to hear what they have to say. So without any further ado, Brianna Cote, Sydney Brummett.
Hi. We're
Hello.
snug.
We got you guys there. Looks there we go.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
unique opportunity for sure, Aaron, this week. People don't have to listen to us all week long. Players are kind of trapped in their hotel rooms right now. So anything to break the monotony a little bit and get to come on and share the insight. So looking forward to these hotel room look-ins to just hear what this whole experience is like.
Yeah, it's an experience. I think it's great that, we get to room together. So I think it'd be a little bit harder for us being by ourselves because we are so used to being around each other. So I'm thankful that we at least got to have one roommate of our choosing. So that's good. I know a lot of the girls chose to be on their own, and that's great too. But for us, we're a little bit more bubbly and active. I think we go stir crazy if we didn't have someone to talk to or just have fun with. So, but it's been a good experience to share, and still experiencing it. So, I mean, we'll see how the week goes.
Well, I think the Bowl TV audience will enjoy the bubbliness that Matt and I cannot bring. So we appreciate that. But, this has been a long time coming. Obviously, 2020 did not go as any of us had hoped with the tour. But, talk about the anticipation of actually, waiting to see if this was going to happen. All the negative tests yesterday, just kind of the culmination of everything, just kind of leading up to actually bowling yesterday and today and, bowling for score and prize money and titles tomorrow. Just how crazy has it been like these past few weeks just leading up to this event?
I think it's been like so much anticipation and so much excitement. And for a lot of us, like, this is what we do. This is how we make a living. This is what our livelihood is about, and it's what we live for. And so to finally have the opportunity to travel for what we love to do is unmatched. And I think we all have a little bit of extra gratitude inside of us this week because we haven't been able to do what we love for almost 500 days now. So to be able to shoe up and get that unofficial practice in yesterday after the good news of all the negative results, like it was such a good feeling just to walk outside the hotel. We were so excited because we didn't think that was going to happen yesterday. But yeah, that gratitude it's really sticking.
So now, Sid, as you guys have gotten ready for this, you certainly added a little extra to the mix, taking a new job as well. So,
Yes.
just as if preparation and all of the stress that came with this wasn't enough, you've got that going on at the same time as well. How's that working out for you, and how does that play into what you're doing in your downtime during this event?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yesterday was technically my first day as coach, so that's fun doing that from the hotel room. But my men's team is underway in Iowa, getting after it, and they have their first event this weekend. But they're in good hands with our other two coaches, Andy Dirks, and our GA is Colin Smith. He has a lot of experience himself, so he knows what's going on. But it's exciting, and it's just I'm kind of sitting in the hotel room like thinking of practice ideas and making group chats with the guys, making sure that I still feel connected to them and get to know them, even though my first week is being spent in the bubble and not with them.
Of course, Sid, that's over at Mount Mercy, a top-notch program. Had a phenomenal team on both the men's and the women's side last year. So definitely excited to see what they can bring to the lanes with your expertise added to the mix.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Very ready to be there. I actually had just gotten my apartment right before we came here. So it's like everything is happening while I'm in the bubble. So hopefully it's okay once I get out.
Now, Bree, you guys got off the lanes a couple hours ago. Now you had some time to kind of digest what you saw out there. 39 feet, 43 feet. What are your initial impressions of the patterns? And for the fans at home, they always ask us where you're throwing. So what equipment was working or looking good out there for you?
Yeah, definitely. The ITRC can be interesting at times, bold plenty of times here, but
Uh-oh.
Well, we made it almost 2 hours of coverage before anybody throw.
Oh,
There they are. They're back.
they're back.
Anyways, so like I was saying, ITRC can be a little tricky sometimes, pair to pair, or even lane to lane. But I thought both patterns, they definitely hooked a little bit more than I had anticipated. So I was looking to throw balls that were a little bit easier to control, a little bit smoother. So I really liked the Storm Axiom with some shine on it. It's a symmetrical ball that usually comes a little bit duller, but kind of brought the surface up to kind of tame it down. And then just started chasing in basically on both patterns. I felt like both patterns broke down pretty similarly. But again, they do tend to hook off the spot, especially on the fresh. So I think that's going to be key to kind of keep your angles where they need to be and just keep the ball in line. And then just make sure, like, Matt was saying earlier, that you have your bowling balls in order when you need to step down and kind of go through progression. Sydney and I tend to throw different bowling balls a lot. But, we know that if I'm throwing this ball, that she should be throwing this ball and kind of work with each other on that. But, yeah, I think they're playable. But, again, tomorrow's going to be a different day. The pattern's going to go down again 2 more times. So we'll have to see what the scores to bring tomorrow.
Okay. Now, we know that most of you have been working very hard to get ready physically, whether it be at training centers or bowling centers or events around. But I think also there's some mental things that will need to be addressed. Just getting back out there, getting in competition mindset again. And as you head out there tomorrow for the first round of qualifying, there's more on the line than just the one block and the one event, of course. Your performance over the 18 games will play into how the week ends for you. How do you keep all of that in check mentally? Again, definitely everybody's been in the gym on the lanes doing what they need to do to get ready physically, but that's only part of it.
So for me, mentally, the tour hasn't always been great because for some reason I saw it as a sprint, which makes no sense. But because we bowled it all in one day, that's how my brain saw it. And so I spent a lot of time over quarantine realizing that that wasn't true at all. And it's not a sprint because every frame we bowl has a life and history of its own. So to argue that any frame is more important than another or any block is more important than another is not accurate at all. And so for me, it's about realizing that from shot 1 of game 1 until shot 10 of game 18 is the exact same. And it literally doesn't matter what we're doing or what we're bowling, because as long as I give my best effort in every single frame, it's going to take care of itself and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, for me, a lot towards the end of the 2019 season, I started to stop looking at the scores, because I was always one that was constantly looking at the leaderboard, constantly looking at the scores and seeing what I needed to have. And I just felt like it put more pressure on me. So I decided to stop looking at the scores, especially towards the end when it was crunch time for the tour championships and you guys were posting scores constantly and seeing who was going to be making it, because it was such a tight race. And I told myself, I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to worry about me and stay focused in the present. And so I think that's, also a key thing for a lot of us is not to look too far ahead. Just stay within yourself. And like Sid said, every single frame counts from start to finish.
So what you're saying is you weren't like looking at our cool posts or anything like that?
I was not. And I had a couple of the ladies ask me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it because I know it's a close race for a lot of people, and I just chose not to look at it and just try to focus on the tournament because I still had a tournament to bowl and still wanted to place well in it. So yeah, it was nerve wracking. Didn't make it easy.
Well, Bree, you're cool, so we'll let it pass this time. So
all right, thanks.
But, it's definitely a unique situation for this event. Obviously, we've kind of alluded to it that you two are roommates, so you're spending either all your time there or at the ITRC. So what's been keeping you guys busy so far in these first couple of days?
We did, we've nothing much really. But no, I mean, we did a little workout the other day, a time lapse that some of you guys may have seen on our social media that we did to kind of just stay active. We watched The Bachelorette last night.
We did.
For Sid. Just kind of catching up since we hadn't seen each other in a while. So that's pretty much it right now.
Excellent stuff. Definitely keep the good stuff coming on social media. We've been seeing it on the gram, as the kids say. So it's been fun to see the experiences of everybody in this unique situation. But we're definitely glad it's here, it's happening, and it looks like our competitors are getting ready to move pairs here. I know that's a big thing at the ITRC that. I've had quite a few folks mention how important note keeping is here. So for your experiences here from Team USA camps and other events over time, just, what are some of the tendencies from pair to pair that you guys have noticed that you're looking out for this week?
Well, the differences in the lanes from my point of view comes from, at Team USA camp and a lot of the camps that are held at the training facility throughout the year, certain patterns are laid down on certain lanes. So like I know on lane 7, you're almost always doing the cats. I think it's either 7 or 9. I can't remember. I have it written down, but that's where the short pattern always is for the cat system. And the other lane is long. And then one lane, they're always having people throw it slow. The other lane, they're always having people throw it fast. So it tends to make the fronts and the track in this building be a little bit different. Training facilities like this or arenas tend to be a little bit different than a typical bowling center because the quote unquote track or where most play is found is not always from 8 to 12 like you would find in a normal recreational center. So depending on what lane you're on, that track could be in a different spot and you just have to know and be aware of it. So that way when you get to that pair, whether it's going to hook a little bit sooner or it's going to be a little bit tighter down lane.
All right, good info for sure. Brianna Cote and Sydney Brummett joining us from their hotel room right across the street from the International Bowling Campus, competing on A squad this week. How about one more question? We'll let you guys get back to enjoying the day. Maybe a workout, maybe some some more. I don't know enough about The Bachelorette to know if it's.
I don't either.
Is it a Monday thing or just like catching up on Netflix type thing? Or. But as we wrap up, this is obviously the first opportunity to compete for a national title in 500 days. What's it going to be like if you can put yourself in position to take home a title in this unique situation?
What's it going to be like? It would be worth the wait. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think so too. And for me, it's like Team USA has been a big part of who I am for a long time, growing up without a tour to look up to. And so to win in this building, I think would be a little bit extra special.
All right. Well, we wish you both the best of luck throughout the course of the week, all 3 tournaments. Hopefully we get to see you in a stepladder final or 2 right here on Bowl TV. But we'll let you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on A Squad tomorrow at the Bowlers Journal Classic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
All right. Very cool. Brianna Cote and Cote Brummett joining us here on the PWBA Podcast Special Edition from the practice sessions, the official practice sessions from the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series. Before we get going too far here into our, where are we at, Matt?
We're halfway there.
We're halfway there.
Halfway there. We're just breezing through it.
We're cruising.
So a lot of great insight and knowledge out there from all these players and ball reps, and just tons of cool stuff to learn and talk about over the next few days.
But as we prepare for the second half here of the podcast, we're staying live for all of it. Let's welcome in one of our sponsors, Storm, a gold partner for the PWBA, with a quick ad from them. So we'll be right back.
We don't wait for opportunity.
We create it.
We don't work for recognition.
We do work worthy of recognition.
It's not about being perfect.
It's about effort.
We are Storm.
That's very motivational, Mr. Smith. That makes me want to, potentially get out there at some point and throw the ball again.
And a Hall of Famer at the end there as well, or soon to be USBC Hall of Famer as far as actual induction goes. Bill Chrisman, of course, with his wife Barb, getting inducted into the USBC Hall of Fame in 2021, although that will technically take place in 2022. Congratulations to the Chrismans. With resuming practice here on 9 and 10, we're going to bring in another guest. He was on during A Squad. We'll have him join once again here. Nathan Bohr, Motive Ball Rep, is right there. Hello, Nathan.
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry, headphones have changed since 2 hours ago.
It's a complicated, it's a very fast moving situation we have.
It is, yeah.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
We appreciate the time once again. I'm still in proper attire, just so you know.
No, that's good. That's good. I already told Jason I'm not gonna put it on you this time. It's on Matt this time. So be careful what you say, Matt.
I'll be on my best behavior as I've learned.
But Nathan, as we watch 9 and 10 here, we got Maria on our featured pair for practice. As folks are watching her, she really had an incredible 2019 season. We've known how good she's been at majors over the years. She's made shows, but 4 TV shows in 2019. What was the difference for her trying to essentially, kind of making that next step to becoming an even more regular competitor in the top 5 every week?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think you got your count wrong. I think it was 5, but no, I think at one point I looked back. So we look at the 2018 Louisville stop as kind of a turning point. And from the 2018 Louisville stop till the end of 2019, I think she made something like 13 or 14 shows worldwide. And so what we did at that turning point with a little help from Brett Spangler was we quit having her be pretty. We spent too much time. We spent a little bit of time the first couple of years on tour trying to kind of refine her approach and put the ball on line and hit the pocket when the scores were lower. And then we kind of, what that got us was a bunch of top 12s, not very many shows. So what we decided was top 12s are great, but we want to make shows we want to win. And so just kind of let her loose. Quit trying to be pretty. Quit trying to post every shot. Go ahead and throw it hard, hit it, and try and throw some pins around. And it seemed to work.
Part of that maturity as well, and the growth that she's seen over the recent years, at least in my world, getting to see her compete out there in the international events for Columbia. I had a terrific World Championships in 2019, just as we were getting ready for the 2020 season right around the corner. A lot of momentum there. I imagine a huge confidence-building experience in Las Vegas and coming away with the medal success that they had. Talk about that and just kind of how things will look going into 2020, and how do you harness that and get it ready to go again for 2021? So far away, but still so fresh.
Sure. Well, that was really a culmination that week. That was a culmination for her of a bunch of hard work individually, and it was a culmination of hard work that group has put in together for the last 8 to 10 years. That core group with Clara, Rocio, Angie, Maria, that core group has been together for about 10 years, and they were able to finally really put it together and find a way to get the most out of each other. Sometimes it takes a while, and so that team event gold medal means so much to them just because of how tough the road was leading up to that. As far as Maria goes, oh man, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, say that again.
Well, we're just talking about the high point that
sure.
was.
Right.
And then kind of how we go right now.
Yeah, right. Sorry. So what's cool about this is that was basically one of her last competitive events since then. So she's still the All Events World Champion. Nothing has changed that. They're still team world champions. Nothing has changed that. So it's almost like 2020 never happened. And so we're taking what happened at the end of 2019 and hopefully translating it into 2021. The bonus for Maria is that Maria and all of our staffers is that our bowling balls, our line has never been better. Was looking at bags, and the balls that they're throwing right now, we didn't even have that technology a year and a half ago. And so to have that ball, to have those balls, to have those options really gives them a leg up compared to a year and a half ago when Maria threw Venom Shock the entire time, because that was the best ball on most patterns, and it's not the case.
Now, Nathan, we just saw Maria leave a vicious stone 8 pin, which hopefully doesn't happen tomorrow. She's getting them out of the way now.
Yeah, get them out now. Yeah.
But what so far early on in the practice session, what balls have looked good for her on each pattern?
Forged flare on both. It's a good shot. Forged flare on both patterns. We're trying to get trying to see the. Man, I'm terrible with names. Sorry. Trying to see the Jackal Legacy. Trying to make sure that we've got to look at that one. That's one of the newer ones. And then this orange and blue one she's throwing now is a Jackal Flash, which has really earned a place in her bag over the past couple of months since it came out. Took a little while to kind of figure out how to use it, but once she did, it's really got a good place in the transition.
Now, is there how does Maria like layouts? Do you guys kind of pick with one or two or three and just kind of work around that? Or is she someone who likes trying a lot of different, pin distances, kind of all that stuff when she's setting up her bag for a tournament?
No, we pretty much stick with about three main layouts. With her favorite balls, we've got three different layouts. We call them pin down, pin up, and pin upper. Are the three that we like to go with. Normally we stick between 4.5 and 5.5 from her axis, and the pin downs are about 35 degrees, and the pin ups are 75 degrees.
So,
sorry, other way around. Sorry, other way around. The pin ups are 35, pin downs are 75.
Being out there, obviously, Maria and her equipment, better than any. At the same time, you also have to divide your attention a little bit from the other players. And how do you make that? How do you draw that line, I guess, and be able to give everybody equal and fair treatment? And I know we had this conversation with Brian O'Keefe in the past as well, and how to be fair to all the players and help them all succeed.
Yeah, sure. Well, I actually got this question earlier today. A friend of mine, I told him where we were. He said, how do you remain unbiased? And my answer then was, I like seeing our ball strike no matter who's throwing them. So if Maria's throwing them, it's great. If Aaron's throwing them, it's great. If Summer's throwing them, it's great. And if we're all striking at the same time, it makes my job a lot easier.
Absolutely. So Nathan, we're going to let you get back to doing what you do.
Sure,
and thank you again for joining us here on Bull TV, and we'll be talking to you throughout the week.
Yeah, that's great. Matt, you got off easy this time. I'll be looking for you later on.
I appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
He's making me nervous, Aaron. I'm sorry.
That's all part of the game, Matthew, as you know. It's good to be nervous, though. It's good to have event energy going on here, which is what we have as we once again are watching the official B Squad practice session from the PWBA podcast from the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series, the first event of the 2021 season. A lot to be excited about in 2021. 20 events overall on the schedule. That's the most since 2001. $400,000 in extra prize money for these great athletes throughout the course of the season. And, essentially they have their own network, Bull TV, wire-to-wire coverage for the entire season, every stepladder final, every round, every match play, all of it is going to be available on Bull TV. So that's going to be super exciting. For this week, bulltv.com, get yourself a login. It takes like 2 minutes to do. It's really not that tough, folks. Get yourself a login. You can watch qualifying and match play from all four events. That's the PWBA Bowlers Journal Classic, ITRC Classic, the Arlington Regional, and the Hall of Fame Classic, all for free on bulltv.com. You will have to purchase a subscription to watch the stepladder finals live. We have a few options for you. If you're planning to watch the PWBA all season, we would highly recommend getting an annual subscription, $79.95. A monthly will be $9.95. And then if you just want an event pass, $12.95 for all four stepladder finals. Or if you just want to buy one, if your favorite bowler just happens to make one show, you want to watch it, $4.95 for that particular event. So be sure to check those out. Folks are moving pairs right now, and it looks like Jason Thomas is hanging out for a second. So we'll bring in Jason Thomas. There he is.
I was trying to, beautify myself because it's tough, but yeah, we're working on getting Cecil Scarborough on the show. He's gonna talk about just kind of how many bowling balls are being drilled. I mean, you would expect there would be a lot because people haven't bowled in competition in quite some time. So he's probably one of the busier guys. So we're gonna try to squeeze him in and just talk about what's being drilled and what people are seeing. And here he is. So just give me a second to disinfect the headphones, and we'll get Cecil on for you.
There we go. Thanks, JT. All right.
There's something that's going to take some getting used to, huh? Disinfecting things and all of the new precautions it takes to make this happen. But they're doing a phenomenal job there at the ITRC and at behind the scenes, of course, and at the hotel. right across the street there. So, I guess to be cliche, hats off to the team there to be as successful as they have so far, and everybody just getting in their stride, I think, and getting used to the hotel room situation and getting their Netflix logged in and all that good stuff. The exercise bike set up. These players are ready to compete. They probably would have done anything necessary, and they certainly have put in some hard work.
Absolutely, Matthew. And our next guest is ready to go. So we're going to bring in Cecil Scarborough.
Hi, guys. How are you today?
Excellent, buddy. How are you doing?
We are doing well. Thank you.
It's we got to see you a couple of days ago as you got into town, but you've been doing your thing as the player services representative, and of course working for Vice as well. What's the experience been like for you the past few days?
It's been really good. I mean, the protocols that they put in place have been really easy to kind of follow and go through, and everything's really spelled out. They have done an absolute phenomenal job with getting everything put together for this event, and kind of cover every base they can with every protocol they can do to make sure that these ladies are out here bowling, and we are so thankful for it.
As the week progresses, of course, you might be pretty busy in your role. Tell us a little bit more about what you do out there, what the expectations are going to be on you, and it's really going to be a whole different look to your perspective as well, and how you're going to handle your business in a safe and orderly way.
Sure. So with Vice Insert side, I make sure I take care of all the players and make sure they have everything they need for their competition as far as tapes or interchangeable thumb systems or whatever they need, grips. I make sure they all take care of that. Then on the other side with the player services, then I actually take the bowling balls that they need to be drilled so they can compete and hopefully score better. Then we actually will take those, drill them, and get them prepared for them. This week I'm installing all of the interchangeable systems in every bowling ball. So we, again, are following the protocols with not having the girls touch of any products as much as they possibly can. So, yeah, it's going to be a completely different perspective how we're doing things. I'm actually drilling inside the ITRC into their pro shop instead of using the PWBA Tour truck. So it's how they're going to bring the balls in, how they're going to have them set up and ready to drill. All of that is completely different this week than what we normally would do.
Oh, now, and looking at the arsenals, the players coming in, fresh off, new equipment coming out, all that good stuff, hopefully very prepared. How much work do you think you'll have to do this week after seeing the two patterns they're bowling on right now, and the preparation and are there going to be a lot of calls to the chuck, you think?
Well, the one thing that I have spoken with the tour reps is the fact that they've actually had conversations with their staffs. So by doing that, the ladies are a little more prepared walking in the door. So like after the first squad of practice, we actually drilled 9 balls. Normally we would drill 15 or 20 balls. So that shows that the tour reps have really done a great job preparing the staff that they are working with and having them prepared for this event. But as the week progresses, I think we're going to probably see a little more drilling because the lanes are going to change a little bit, obviously, because of different balls going down the lane. And they may need something different to help them strike and get that extra edge to make it to the next round.
Now, Cecil, this is you've been on tour with us for a couple of seasons now. Obviously, it was tough not to have the tour in 2020, but I know you stay busy out there with quite a few different things. Tell us a little bit about 2020 for you and kind of just everything going on here in 2021.
2020 was definitely an interesting year. It was tough for a lot of people, including myself, but working with Vice and doing some other things, I've actually developed 2 new companies that I'm working on now. I have an apparel company that's getting ready to launch on one of the websites. I've got some tools that I've actually developed, and so Vice has done a really nice job with working with me in innovative bowling products, with allowing me to go out and sell those products and get them out to the pro shops. And so for that, I'm very, very thankful for the ability to work with them. The PWBA has been absolutely amazing to work with, getting everything set up for this year, and I'm so happy to see the ladies back out on the lanes again.
So now you've been at this, as we mentioned, for a minute. You've gotten to see some great bowling over the years, some champions, a lot of top talent. Not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot. Any predictions? Now, look at the field. Got a terrific rookie class this year. We've got some players we haven't seen in a few years. And, of course, those red-hot players who have been around the top of the Player of the Year races for the last couple of years. Anybody stand out so far? Anybody particularly extra ready, in your opinion, to really make a name this year?
Well, Shannon O'Keefe, obviously, just in tip-top phenomenal shape. You can definitely tell during 2020, some of the ladies have really, really worked on their physical part of their games as well as the physical part of themselves. I mean, they're in great shape. I've noticed a couple of the ladies, I talked to them earlier with some of the things that they've done to get prepared, and you can tell they have definitely taken this tour seriously this year and prepared themselves physically by getting in better shape, losing a little bit of weight, preparing themselves physically and mentally out here is going to be good. Lily Robles, I've been watching her this afternoon. She's really, really throwing the ball great. Another young lady from Canada, Valerie Bercier, you can tell she's really worked on her game. Her rev rate's increased. Her ball speed has really increased. So it's going to be interesting to watch some of these ladies come through from 2020, and you can tell how hard they've worked. And you're going to see it, I think, come through in 2021 with some different people in the top 5 every week.
That's certainly good. A lot, as you mentioned, a lot of players working on it. You're looking pretty good yourself, my friend. So
thank you, sir.
It's excellent to see you. We'll let you get back to it here, but big thank you for joining us. Hopefully we get to chat with you a few times throughout the course of the week when you're not too busy out there.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You guys continue to do a great job. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Cecil.
Yeah, man.
All right, everybody. Cecil Scarborough joining us here. Definitely had some great talking points there. And, one of the things, we kind of talked about it a little bit during the A squad practice session, but Shannon O'Keefe is the 2-time reigning Player of the Year. And, 2019 was such a phenomenal season for her. Let's see if we can find her on the lanes here while we talk with her. So bear with us, everybody. There she is. She's over on 1 and 2. So this is technology here, folks. We're moving. All right, there we go. So Shannon's actually up right now, all the way far left of your screen. But 5 titles. I believe she went 11 and 2 on TV or in championship round appearances. Led the tour in every statistical category. Was just really a revelation season for her. After kind of winning it bittersweet in 2018, she said she didn't compete the way she wanted to at all times, kind of changed her mindset heading into 2019. And now after a season off, we get to see her back on the lanes. She's stayed pretty busy. She's been on the lanes as usual. She's working with McKendree University, where she's the women's head coach with that great program. Always posting on social media with workouts and bowling and tips and everything. Mr. Cannizzaro, is there any reason you could think why Shannon would slow down here in 2021?
Absolutely not. I think she for sure is the player to beat. I know that's easy to say, being the 2-time reigning Player of the Year, but she puts in the work. She's not satisfied with her performances. You mentioned the 2018 campaign where she didn't win it quite how she wanted to, I think, was kind of how she described it. She spent too much time looking at the numbers and the scores and just looking at the race itself and not really getting to enjoy it for what it was. And so she took a completely different mental approach to it in 2019 and was able to enjoy the experience and not put so much pressure on herself. And it was a totally different player, walking away with that trophy when it was all over. And I think many of the players, Shannon included, of course, have an increased appreciation for what they're about to embark on over the next 10 days at the ITRC. And, having lost the tour once and then losing it again for just a minute, a lot of them didn't even have the opportunity based on, when they grew up and didn't have a chance. She did get a peek at it there early before it went away in 2003. But I know they all have worked hard. They are ready for this opportunity, and just follow her at any point on any social media channel. And she's helping the next generation. She's out there with Taylor Bailey, getting her ready for the future out on the lanes. Brianna Clemmer's not far behind. So McKendree, now a breeding ground for the players who are going to try to challenge Shannon. And, she's just going to push harder just to stay one step ahead of them.
Absolutely. And a lot of folks wanting that position, though. So Shannon certainly has her work cut out for her in 2021. We talked a little bit about Dasha and Danielle during A squad. Here on B squad, some of the big names to look out for. We have Clara Guerrero, who we saw on that last pair, had a really strong 2019 season, performed well at the King of the Lanes PBA event over the summer, as well as the PBA League. You got to think about Maria Jose Rodriguez. Nathan kind of alluded to her strong stretch here over the past few years, and no reason to see that stopping anytime soon. We got Liz Johnson, essentially the GOAT. So Liz looking to get back to that winning ways, or the winning ways we're accustomed to. 2019, her first season without a win since the relaunch. And of course, Stephanie Johnson, a perennial top 10 player. One player who's actually on our featured pairs right now to look out for this season, I think, is Diana Savyalova. She's, 2019 was a little bit disappointing for her. She missed the tour championship for the first time, did not collect a victory. She switched companies to Storm. I know she's very anxious to get the tour going once again, and obviously she's here. She's competing this week. But another player to look out for to potentially could go on one of those streaks and win a couple titles this season. So definitely excited to kind of see how those players progress throughout the course of the 2021 season.
Well, Aaron Diana's been very busy on the lanes now, having moved from the Austin area now to the DFW area with some great resources here. And fine folks, Hall of Famers like Dell and Carolyn Doran Ballard, certainly taking advantage of their knowledge and their pro shops and such, and being able to compete. There's always something going on, it feels like, in our area of Texas here. Not to mention having the ITRC right in the neighborhood as well to go and train, and a welcoming venue and an opportunity to see a variety of lane conditions and circumstances. And you're right, Diana has worked very hard to get comfortable with her new line of equipment, with the Storm products, as well as her fitness goals. Also, even becoming a personal trainer in the downtime. So the ability to help herself while helping others, and maybe take some of the pressure off the bowling side of things, knowing that there's always more to it. But coming into this year, very motivated, as you said. Things didn't quite go so well in the lanes last time, but a whole year in between to refresh and reflect and come back ready to go.
Excellent insight there, Matthew. We mentioned the company changes. A few other folks on this squad who had made changes. We already talked to Matt McNeil about Stephanie Johnson moving to Rotogrip. Taylor Boltai is also making a move to 900 Global. She is essentially a year removed from her first PWBA regional victory. Back to kickoff 2020. We had 3 events before the pandemic shut down the regional tour as well. Taylor, a very strong player, has always performed well. Still looking for that breakout performance, though, on the national tour. So it'll be exciting to see her as we begin to see players moving around the facility here. Let's see. We got a few more talking points for you. I know our good friend Brad Littlejohn is in the chat talking, I think, on a few different platforms. I think I see him on YouTube. I see him on bulltv.com. So he's doing hard work here. He mentioned the rookie class this season, and I think that's a very good talking point to kind of transition here. So as folks move around, we'll see if we can get a camera on some of the rookies this season. But, there was, when you look at the collegiate class that was finishing up in 2020, just phenomenal across both the USBC collegiate and the NCAA sides. It's been, when you look at the NTCA All-Americans, all 5 players were seniors last year. So much talent, all ready to come out, all had, essentially been striving toward this in one way or another over the past 5 years leading up to it with the relaunch of the tour, having some place to take their talents to. And of course, with 2020, they had to postpone it. But definitely a handful of talented players to look out for who are kind of getting the early edge in the Rookie of the Year race. On A Squad earlier today, we had Abby Ragsdale, who is a past NCBCA MVP, Player of the Year for St. Francis, Illinois, and Maria Balanova from Vanderbilt, who also a past Player of the Year for the Commodores. Very talented player. We've seen her, find success early on, coming from coming from Moscow. Had a great showing at the World Cup, I believe, in 2014, where she just missed making the stepladder finals prior to her college days. So you could see the talent right then and there. But those are two players on A Squad to look out for. Here on B Squad, we have Caitlin Johnson. We talked a little bit about her with Eric Kraus, two-time NCBCA Player of the Year with Weber International. We've actually seen basically Caitlin grow up on Bowl TV, even going back to a Chris Barnes Thanksgiving tournament weekend, probably like back in 2013. She won that one by about 900 pins. We've seen success at Junior Gold, Collegiate, Junior Team USA, and now the PWBA is the next step for her. The one player who did not graduate in 2020 that we're also looking out for in the field this week, Fania Cobo, who bowled for Wichita State. She finished up her collegiate bowling career in 2019, has won some medals for Puerto Rico. So she's going to be another strong player to watch throughout the course of this season.
All great stuff. And again, we keep alluding back to all the great storylines here at the ITRC this week. An opportunity for some players we haven't seen before, at least at this level, to spend some time in the spotlight. 36 players in the field, 32 checks at the first two events here. So a real opportunity to make some money, surprise money, a head start in the Player of the Year and the Rookie of the Year races. All very important. Of course, we easily could spend some time talking about all the folks who are not able to be here for various reasons, and they'll have an opportunity later in the season, hopefully, as things unfold a little bit. We've seen some dominance in recent years from Singapore and Malaysia and players, and we mentioned Verity Crawley earlier. But again, unfortunate circumstances we're living in, but a chance for some new players to really shine a little bit, and some players who have been around maybe to find their way back in. Right now, we see arguably the greatest of all time and a Rookie of the Year candidate side by side on our featured pair. So a little bit of everything here. Definitely won't be a lack of things for us to talk about as we look forward to the week and to the future of the season, and hopefully seeing some of those other big names join us down the road.
Excellent job there, Matthew. Jason Thomas is back to join us here. So, JT.
Yeah, I heard Matt say we see the greatest of all time, and I thought maybe you were talking about me, but then quickly my hopes were dashed. But that's okay. We are working on getting Rocio Restrepo into the show. She's just working on a ball, so as soon as she's done, she's gonna give us a call, and we'll be able to wrap up with her, and then we're going to talk to Shannon O'Keefe at the end once the practice session's over. But I do have one quick funny story for you guys. So Aaron and I shot a promo for the live stream, coming up starting tomorrow. And in it, I talked about some of the storylines, and one of the storylines being Player of the Year, who's gonna challenge Shannon O'Keefe. And I mentioned Dasha Kovalova, mentioned Liz Johnson, and somebody I didn't mention was Danielle McEwen, the person who's been second for Player of the Year the last two seasons. So Jimmy Callahan has been absolutely giving me the business over that all day. He just will not let it go. So I will go on the record as saying, first off, she is the defending champion in this building, right? Nobody's won in this building on the PWBA Tour since Danielle McEwen. So she likes the place. She, obviously is training hard, and she was a runner-up for Player of the Year the last 2 years. So you have to put her name in the mix. And Jimmy, I'm so sorry.
On the bright side, we know Jimmy's watching our stuff now, so thank him for that.
Yep, one more audience. That's all. We need every audience member we can get. So there he is. He just walked right next to me. He must have heard his ears. His ears were burning.
They were burning. But, that's that happens to all of us, though. We all have our little hiccups there across the way, but we got about 10 minutes left in this practice session. And kind of from your perspective, running around, anything different you're seeing out there from what we saw in A Squad, or pretty much?
No, I do. It's the data that I have to back up what I'm about to say is completely lacking. But it seems like they are not striking as much on this session. It seems like there's a lot more splits, a lot more balls missing the pocket. I don't know if that's because they are trying different things or if they are just playing a little tougher. I definitely listened to Matt and some of the other ball reps that were talking about how they were playing a lot tighter. And, this might be a little closer to what we see tomorrow as we keep putting this pattern out over and over, or these patterns out over and over and over again.
Excellent. Yeah, we've had some predictions from for high scores from a few of the reps there, so that'll be interesting to see throughout the course of the week, or at least these first two events. The Hall of Fame Classic, as you mentioned, it's going to be a third pattern. They're not going to see that for a couple of days, though, because we have to determine who qualifies for that event. Only 24 players make it to the Hall of Fame Classic. So in order to make that show, you got to show some versatility out there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you really have to show versatility to make any show these days. Gone are the days of being able to play, up 5 all week. It just doesn't happen anymore with the balls and the rev rates and, how good the players are. So you really do have to be versatile, to win any week on tour. But certainly this week it could require a lot more of a test of versatility.
All right, JT. We also we mentioned earlier in talking to Matt McNeil, we do have a left-hander in the field out there. We had a chance to see her practice on the squad. Obviously, potentially get lined up and do some damage. Nobody's going to mess with her line too much. But what are the chances we're going to see a left-hander in the finals of one or both?
Yeah, I mean, it could be pretty good. I mean, if she has a good look. And she breaks them down right, and she gets comfortable, as Matt McNeil said. Yeah, she could have a field day. You see it out here sometimes. There really aren't a lot of left-handers, and obviously this week there's only one. So, if she gets hot, and Andrew Mears is a player that does tend to get hot. When she gets hot, she makes shows. She shoots big numbers, and so it could happen.
All right, JT, we appreciate the insight there. Our final guest here in the official practice session before we wrap up with Shannon has arrived, so we're going to let you wrap things up there, and we're going to talk to Rocio here in just a minute.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, JT. All right, Jason Thomas from the ITRC, and now from her hotel room, Rocio joining the show. Hello.
Hi guys, hi Matt, hi Aaron. How are you guys?
We are doing excellent. It's great to see you. It's great to see you back on the lanes as well. How have you been? And what's the wait been like to get here to Texas for this event?
Well, honestly, just really excited to be back. I was really excited yesterday when we were able to practice for a little bit. It's just been like all these days just waiting to get back on the lanes, and it's finally here. So I'm just super excited to be back on the lanes, competing, and just looking forward for competition.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about how today went. You went out, you saw 2 patterns, had a chance to try some different equipment, do some things. How did it feel to be back out there and to be in that mindset, knowing that this was the official practice session? You're getting ready to be back to it for the 2021 season.
To be honest, I feel good. I was watching a little bit of the broadcasting, and I didn't I was feeling a little off when I was practicing, but in overall I had a good practice session, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But I just felt good to be able to throw a few shots, just go through the motion of just getting bowling balls down and just picking things up and just kind of figuring out what I'm gonna throw. And what I like about having different patterns, it's frustrating when you're practicing because the angles are a little different and we were going lane to lane, so you can't really like focus on what you're doing. And I think it's true for a lot of players. One pattern is longer than the other one, so that makes us change angles. But overall, I feel like I had good ball reaction in both patterns. With certain equipment, they match up good on both patterns, so I was excited to see that. And like I told my reps, as long as I have 5 balls that match up okay, I should be okay. Especially because the surface is pretty much dominant. Wherever we go, you can have a different pattern, but the surface is always going to dictate what shapes and what balls do you want to play. So I was just paying attention what was good across the house on both patterns and just keep those balls in mind.
Now, you mentioned that a few bowling balls seem to work well on both patterns. For the folks at home, which bowling balls were those, and just what other balls were looking good out there from pattern to pattern?
To be honest, I really like the way my RSTX1 roll is one of my favorite balls. I saw the UC2, the Rubicon UC2 as well. IQ Tour, of course, is always a good choice. Hyrule Pearl. Obviously, we don't really know until we get on the lanes and the pace and everything. Like we start throwing more spares, how the pattern is actually going to play and having it on both lanes. But overall, I feel like those 2 or 3 balls were consistent throughout the house, same as my Astrophysics and Emerald. So like I said, 5 or 6 balls, they should be good enough. I have 18, so I was kind of glad when something rolled really bad because I was just taking it out of play right away. But I'm always open-minded to the next day. As you know, we have strategies, players get smarter, and I'm always open to have a bigger ball just in case I need to get my ball to slow down or something like that. But those were like the main balls that I saw were consistent. The shorter pattern, I feel like everyone has to be a little more careful and just stay aggressive, just because the balls just seem to like hook pretty sharp down the lane, so you have to control those angles. The longer pattern, I feel like a lot of players could actually just stay in the same zone. I was actually trying to move left just to see what was out there, but like I said, you gotta wait until the competition starts to really know how deep we're gonna get.
Now, I know you had, the 2019 season was a little frustrating. You missed a couple events with injuries, but you found some success late. You made the TV show in Orlando and had a pretty strong showing at the Players Championship as well to wrap up 2019. So, for you, what was this year off essentially like, waiting to get back on the lanes? I'm sure a lot of anticipation, but kind of how are you feeling heading into the season?
Well, you guys, I didn't share this with a lot of people, but 2020 was very rough for me. I actually had to continue to see the doctor a few times, and they finally figured something out. I don't really have an injury. I just have like disease that they have to control. But now knowing that is a lot easier for me to just deal with it, and day to day is nothing major. I just gotta control it. But it's with diet and everything. So that to me was a relief to know that, okay, now I can take control of what's going on. So for me, 2020 was just like everyone, I was waiting for the tour. And then when it didn't happen, I was like, okay, that I just gotta keep practicing and practicing. But to be honest, like I love to compete, and even when we don't bowl as good as we want to, at least we get the chance to be out there and just have like seeing what we need to work on. So practicing and practicing and practicing to me was getting a little old. I'm like, I love practicing, and you guys know that I work out, I practice, but I had to tell myself a few times, just stay home, relax, don't practice so much, you're overcooking it. It can easily happen when we are not competing. And prior to coming here, when we got the announcement that we had to get 2 negative tests, I was actually bowling a little more. But with that being said, I just tried to stay home and making sure I took care of myself. I even told my husband, hey, don't go bowl because you're going to be exposed and it's not a good thing. So it actually got a little frustrating for me just to practice and practice and practice because I wanted to compete more. But now that we're here, I'm just super excited to start tomorrow. And I've been telling myself, no matter what, just remember to be grateful for the opportunity to step back on the approach and just take one shot at a time and you'll figure it out.
All right, Ro, we are wrapping up practice here. So that means tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 local time here, you're going to be on the lanes. Who are you crossing with this week?
I'm crossing with Sydney, and I forget her name. I think it's Abby. She's one of the young players. Pretty good. I think college player. I can't remember her name. I apologize for that, but I'm looking forward. I bowled with Sydney before, so I think we'll see. It's a different format. Like I'm not used to not having everyone because we usually bowl all of us on the same, squad. But we'll see how the lanes transition and how they play out tomorrow. And like I said, you gotta stay patient. The PWBA is known to put more difficult patterns than people think. Just because we had good ball reaction, that doesn't mean that it's gonna be there tomorrow. So we gotta stay open-minded and just go with what's out there.
All right. Now, Rocio, when you're not on the lanes this week, there's going to be a lot of free time to kind of think about things. I know you're a thinker and always walking through things a little bit, maybe going back and watching your block on the lanes. What are you going to do in that downtime to get ready for the next day, to keep your mind maybe off the bowling part of it? Or are you going to be at the hotel watching the other squad, seeing what you can learn to help make your week a little bit better?
To be honest, it depends. Like if I want to see what's out there and I want to watch, I'll be watching just to kind of see who is bowling better and who is on top or whatever. But usually when I come back to the hotel, I try to just write down what I did and talk to my psychologist, talk to my parents, kind of let them know how it went, to my husband. He usually gives me ideas of what I might be doing. If he watch the blog, he might tell me, oh, you might have been doing this physically. So I get a little coaching from that aspect. But I try to actually come to the hotel. I brought a bunch of stuff with me to recover. And because that's a huge thing for me, is staying healthy. And I just come to the hotel, relax. A lot of people think that because I talk or whatever, I'm like a social butterfly, but I'm actually an introverted in a way, and I like my downtime. So this setup for me is perfect because I just compete and then come home, come to the hotel, and can just chill and do whatever I want. I brought a couple of workout tools. I might do a little workout, but with all the competition that we're going to do, especially if you make top 12, if you make the shows, it's a lot of bowling. I try to stretch and just save my body. I'm not like really big, especially I lost a lot of weight last year, and I just try to save as much energy as possible. Just rest, that's important.
All right, Rocio. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go, but we appreciate you stopping on the show here. Hopefully, we get the opportunity to talk to you a few times. If you want to join us when you're at the hotel room, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you during one of the other blocks. But hopefully, we're going to see a lot of strikes from you too. So just best of luck this week, and it's great to see you back on the lanes.
Thank you, guys. I hope I can join you, but I'm probably I want to be bowling and striking a lot. So let's just hope for that.
Absolutely. All right, Ro, take care, and we will see you
Thank
soon
you,
right here on
guys.
Bowl TV.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Mr. Canizaro, we are all done with B Squad bowling. So the official practice session across both squads done. We have our two-time reigning player of the year waiting, Shannon O'Keefe. We're going to bring her in. How about right now?
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey, Shannon. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
We're doing great. We got to watch bowling all day today, and so did the fans of Bowl TV. So
it's a great day.
Absolutely, 100%. So for you, how did these last 90 minutes go? What'd you like about the patterns? What was working for you?
Amazing. It's just awesome to be back in the training center. Number one, I used to work at USBC, and so I've always felt like training center was home to me. So it's just awesome to be back in this environment with these ladies and see my friends. It's just so fun, and practice felt good. I felt like to start I was a little bit quick. I came back and talked to the ball reps, and I said, does it look like my tempo is a little bit quick? Because I kind of feel like I'm a little grabby at the bottom. And they're like, yeah, just try to kind of chill out a little bit. And once I did that, it was good. It was fine. Both patterns I thought played very similar to start, believe it or not. I feel like my angles on the longer pattern need to be just a little bit tighter. And I had a little bit more room for error on the shorter pattern. Although I don't want to be firing it right like that. But for me, it's all about controlling the pocket and making my spares and just continuing on with my career the way I have the last 3 or 4 years.
Great. Now, Shannon, you've really set the bar over the last couple of years as far as being the player to beat, really, and the player for the newcomers to look up to. As you looked across the ITRC today, you saw some players maybe you looked up to.
Yeah.
Or do look up to. And then, of course, the tremendous rookie class. I know it's a tremendous feeling just to be out there and be competing, but those 35 players are looking to take that spot from you for player of the year. I know that's a long way off, a lot to think about, but how does it feel to be the front runner that everybody's looking to match up to?
Well, I really try not to ever think about that stuff. I try to live in my own lane and in my own space. And I really focus on, like my vision statements and what my goals are for this year. And writing in my goals this year were very different than maybe in years past, where in years past I would always write like, well, I want to win a major and I want to be player of the year. And that is just not how my goals are written this year. It's more living in the moment and competing with a grateful heart that I get to do what I love to do, because I bowled on the old PWBA when it was kind of ripped away from us for 12 years and was so grateful to have it back, and was kind of living in that lane of gratitude and just being so grateful but still, trying to work really hard to be the best that I could be. And then again, COVID happened and there it was ripped away from us yet again. And so it was heartbreaking. It was devastating. And one thing that I'm trying to really teach my college kids right now is be so grateful for every moment, because tomorrow is not promised. And I just want to compete with pure love and joy for the sport. And it just makes it easier when you can do something like that. I try not to think about player of the year and things like that. I'm really just trying to focus on executing, controlling what I can control, and just being the best that I can be. And if I can walk out of the bowling center every day proud of what I did, to me it was successful, regardless of what the actual end result was, and I'm the one that has to lay my head on the pillow at night and be proud of what I did. And so that's really kind of where my brain is this year.
You mentioned 2018 and 2019 being very different for you mentally.
Yeah.
You got to the same point at the end of the year in the player of the year regard, but totally different approach to both. How is this year going to be similar or different, or a complete overhaul for both years?
My mindset is very similar to 2019. I found a really good spot, a really healthy place to compete where I'm not beating myself up as much And it goes back to what I just said about being proud of what I am doing, proud of what Shannon O'Keefe is doing. I don't get wrapped up in what other people's, what they're doing. I'm not a scoreboard watcher. I really haven't been over the last decade. And just try to compete with that same, Shannon O'Keefe intensity from ball one versus, maybe doubling in the 10th to win a title. To me, it's the same, and it should be the same. And that's how I compete. That's how I practice. And so I think my mental approach is very similar to 2019, that I just, I want to be grateful for every opportunity. I feel so incredibly blessed. God has blessed me with an incredible job coaching my girls. It keeps me mentally sharp when it comes to lane play and ball motion when we're in the off season, but also with being healthy enough to be able to compete at the level that I want to. And if that's really important to me, and I feel super humbled and super grateful and super blessed to be able to do that. And in return, it's my job to set a good example for the younger girls, and not just the younger girls on tour, but my McKendree girls, of this is what it takes. So that's where I'm kind of at.
How did it feel to hear Tenille's delightful voice call your name at roll call today, knowing that this is all real once again?
The best ever. I should have recorded it so I could fall asleep to it.
Now, Shannon, one of the unique situations with the tournament this week is obviously you're either in the ITRC or you're at the hotel, and your roommate this week, Stephanie Johnson, your bestie, you guys are back at it. So can we expect any antics from the Shafani show?
Of course. Well, we already got a workout in this morning, so if nobody saw it, check it out. Stephanie only posted a little snippet of it where she assisted me. I posted little snippets of every piece of what I did. But you got to go to the end of what I posted to see it. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. But, of course, Shafani is always in play. It's just been so great. Yesterday, she was posting pictures every 2 hours of what we were doing and where we were in the hotel room, and it was so funny. I didn't even know she was doing it half the time. And, it's just things like that. It makes this experience just that much better. She is my best friend, but God also knew she's the sister that I needed. And I don't think you have to be blood to feel like your family. And it's been so long since we've been able to be together and have our crazy antics. If you guys could only see what happens in our room every second.
Aaron already asked me if next time we're in the studio together, we could try the Shafani push-ups.
Ooh.
I think Heather's getting ready to add those to her next workout.
I had no idea what she was doing up there. And then she patted me on the head, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too funny. So it was pretty good. It's always fun. It's just nice. I actually said to her this morning, I'm like, man, these days are going by actually really quick, which actually kind of stinks because before I know it, it's going to be over. And then I won't see Stephanie until April. So it kind of stinks, but that's okay. Just live and breathe in every moment and focus on, the good and controlling what you can control. And for me, it's just competing with a grateful heart this year.
All right, Shannon, one final question for you. The Buffalo Bills are in the AFC Championship game. You made it. Brian made it. How tough is it going to be to have to watch that game while you're here and he's back home?
Well, I may have to FaceTime Taylor, our little Bearcat that graduated that lives with us now. She's like our daughter. I may have to FaceTime her. But then again, maybe not, because last game, I was in the kitchen, and I was like, go, go, go. And Brian's like, shh. He's like shushing me. He's like, I don't like it when you cheer for them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so huffy. I think I posted a picture of Brian jumping up and down like a little kid with that interception for 101 yards, which was amazing. And then 4 plays later, he's tossing his water bottle across the living room, so it might actually be more enjoyable for me to watch it here and not have him shushing me. But that's okay. I packed my jersey. It was the last thing that I packed. Saturday night, I washed my jersey, and it's the last thing that I packed Sunday morning before I left for the airport. So, I'm ready. I'm going to be nervous. I'm super excited. We had season tickets to the Buffalo Bills with Doug and Chrissy Kent for, I think, 6 years when we lived up in Rochester. And so the last 10 or 15 years hasn't been very enjoyable. Brian's like, the last 25 haven't been very enjoyable. I'm like, okay, sorry, But now I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for everybody in Buffalo. I love watching Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs after the game and how cute they are and how much they just really, truly love each other. And the last thing I will leave you with is when I was younger, we would watch basketball games or football games or whatever, and my mom would always make the comment, "Oh my gosh, they look like just babies." And I'm like, what is she talking about? They look really old to me. And now I'm finding myself look at Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're babies. That means that I'm finally old. So I called my mom the other day. I said, Mom, now I understand what you used to talk about all those years ago. So funny. So anyway, super excited. Hopefully everybody's wearing their blue and red and white on Sunday. Even if you're not a Bills fan, just do it for me, please.
I like that a lot. So Shannon, we'll let you get back to process the practice session, but thank you again for joining us here on the PWBA podcast. Best of luck throughout the week.
Awesome.
And, hopefully we have a few more opportunities to chat with you.
I hope so. Well, all because I bowled well, not because I'm sitting in the hotel room. But
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Shannon.
you.
Good stuff there, Mr.
Woo.
Smith. I think Brian O'Keefe has actually the same reactions when he's watching Shannon bowl. So hopefully he'll be got Bowl TV pulled up on the big screen this week doing the same thing. And she's got a birthday right around the corner. So what better way to celebrate than some success at the ITRC this week?
Absolutely. It's been a pretty remarkable day here on Bowl TV. It's been, we may have one more participant. JT is potentially has someone lined up. I am not sure.
Looks like Maria coming in to chat with
It
us.
could be Maria. JT, talk to us. I know he can hear us. Anyway, we'll see if JT leaves us a note. We may have a quick chat with Maria Jose Rodriguez before we tap out here today. But folks, once again, whether you're watching on bowltv.com, Facebook, or YouTube, we definitely enjoy the opportunity to have this chance to show you the practice session from the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series. It looks like we will not have Maria joining, so we are going to wrap up the show officially now, Matthew. But throughout the course of the week, we will only be on bowltv.com the rest of the way out. So that's where you'll be watching live action throughout the course of the week. We may sneak some Facebook Lives in for you for a game or two, but bowltv.com is the place to be. Qualifying and match play for each of the events is free to watch with just a login. It takes 2 minutes to do. Name, email address, all that simple stuff. Fill it in, get your login, and you're set to watch each and every pair and play, all your favorite PWBA superstars. The step ladder plus us. I feel there's like they're here, and then we're like, let's see, like right there. We're still on the screen, but
Always we're in the conversation.
We're in the conversation, yes. But for the stepladder finals, you will have to purchase a subscription. We have 4 options: an annual for $79.95. If you're going to watch the PWBA all year, that's the way to go. Monthly for $9.95. You can buy an event pass for all 4 events for $12.95, and a individual event pass. Say you got a favorite player, they made a show, that's the only one you want to watch. You can buy one like that too for $4.95. So plenty of options there. If you're on bowltv.com, the place to do that is where it says Join Bowl TV. Simple, quick, fast. You're all set to go for the course of the week. But this crazy day has come to a close. Jason Thomas, do we have any? Do you want to bring JT in real quick one last time? I saw him looking in. I couldn't tell. He was wearing a different headset though. So
Yeah, no, we're done. That's it. That's it. Go home. It's the Ferris Bueller. What are you still doing here? Go home. No, actually, watch the commercial at the end that we're going to play, and then go home. Okay? And then join us back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Lots of bowling. We're going to mark for score. It's not just practice anymore. It's the game. It's the game.
Oh.
We start.
That's right. JT, excellent job from the field today. We look forward to more of it throughout the course of the week for the Kickoff Classic. We'll let you do what you got to do down there, and we'll wrap things up here.
Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thank you, JT. All right, for Jason Thomas, let's see, who do we talk to? Shannon O'Keefe, Rocio Restrepo, Brianna Cote, Sydney Brummett. We had Eric Kraus, Matt McNeil, Nathan Bohr, Tenille Milligan, Director of Operations and USBC Hall of Famer. Thank you to all of them for joining us on the broadcast. Of course, Matt Cannizzaro, my partner in crime this week. I'm Aaron Smith. So, folks, once again, remember to check it out, set up the login, watch qualifying match play for free. Subscription needed for stepladder finals. But that's going to be it. Matt, we made it. You made it through two of them.
That's it. Look forward to it tomorrow. Talking about some bowling. It's bittersweet and can't wait.
All right, folks. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off with a commercial. But remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. Folks, have a great night. We'll see you soon.